everyone, welcome to a video flip through of this completed book. Now this is Matchstick Mouse, a springtime colouring book by Morgan O'Brien. I've actually got 2 copies of this book. My other copy I am working in as well, and I'm copying Morgan O'Brien's versions of the pictures. So for example, this one from the cover, in the other book I've done a copy, my sort of way of copying this, etc. And he's done some other ones on his Instagram which I'm still copying. And then once I run out, I will try to do the other pictures in his style, which will be quite interesting. This one, however, I did my way. Sorry for the lamp glare. We'll come in a bit closer. Actually, we'll open it up so that it's not blinding you, and we'll have a look through. I never fill this bit in, I don't know why. Now let's come in nice and close. You can see the detail in the picture. So this is our first one, which is our cute little hedgehog, and I did this one in Pablo pencils. I think although it's a springtime book, quite a few of the images to me look a bit autumnal, with the sort of nuts and leaves and the sort of brown tunnel. So I matched that in with the orange hat and kept to this sort of autumnal colour scheme. And it is autumn now, so maybe it works. But I did this one quite a while ago actually, and I tried to do some sort of furry stripes. Sometimes it looks like it's a bit scribbly, but that was the plan. Now I think this was one of the first ones I did in the book. Now I used my Chroma Flow pencils, which I actually haven't used for quite a long time. I really should. And I actually looked at a picture of a duckling, because although I knew it was sort of yellow and orangey for the beak and feet, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it look a little bit more interesting, so put a bit of darker brown on some of the furry parts and shadowing here. And I used my white gel pen a fair bit to put some shine on the hat and the beak and on the flowers and things. I don't know how easy it is to see, but it is there. Sometimes I think you can see it without seeing it. So that doesn't make any sense. In a sense, you get the overall impression, you can see the impact of it without actually noticing each tiny stroke. So this one was done with polycolour. You can see I liked the sort of graduating sky colour, but I did it my own way with a sort of sunrise type thing going on. Yeah, I really actually had and I used the front page a little bit for hints, because sometimes I wasn't quite sure what was going on in the picture. So that was quite useful. Sometimes I do find any author, so many illustrator, lots of them, sometimes I can't quite grasp what they're trying to draw. It's usually when things are overlapping or behind each other. Now I think this one might be meant to be a sort of Valentine's, although we're in February for Valentine's, which is a little early for springtime. So I wanted to make it look quite pink and pretty, but for some reason I did orange flowers up here. I don't really know why. I think I just wanted to make it look different, because it would be maybe a little bit odd if all the flowers matched, when this is obviously some sort of delivery. These is done with Arteza Expert. I find they work quite well in this book. Now this is an Amazon printed book, and I think it's an American one, I'm not sure. The paper is quite toothy. It does vary. Now Amazon paper not only varies between countries, so if you get a UK Amazon printed book it's different to a US one, but also the books do change. They don't seem to have a consistent paper. What that means is that you have to test it a bit. Now with a more toothy paper, it means it's more bumpy and rough. So when you put your pencil across it, you see white paper through. And sometimes that can work well for a picture, and sometimes it doesn't work so well. And the Arteza Experts, I find, do leave a fair bit of tooth as well. And I thought it worked on this particular image. It did what I wanted, so that was good. Now this one, I haven't written down what I used, but I actually think it might have been a tutorial. If it is, I'll put a little card at the top of this bit of the video to point to it. But you can always go into my channel and just search for Matchstick Mouse Spring, and you can find all the videos and tutorials and things. But again, a sort of sunrise, sunset type thing going on there. I find I like doing that sort of background, but when you've got a huge page, a double page spread, Johanna Basford, something like that, it's really daunting. But in a little space like this, it's really quite quick, because when I layer my sunset or sunrise, I do a bit of red, bit of orange, bit of yellow, blah blah, but I colour everything over the top of these bits. So I'd start with red, then I do red orange, then I do red orange yellow, then I might do red orange and a lighter yellow. So I'm going back and starting here every time, so it's really thick here and thin here, and that means that it takes a long time, but you know, it's worth it, I think. But I always wanted these birds to be blue when I did my flip through. Now this was done with Koh-i-Noor pencils, and yeah, I liked there's the polycolours again. Sorry, I was trying to work out what Koh-i-Noor. Yeah, polycolour. I wanted to make it look nice and warm in the background. Obviously this is quite an Easter themed picture with the hot cross buns, which those of you in the USA might not even know what they are, but they're a sort of cinnamon currant bun, and the cross on the top is made with a sort of flour and water paste, and it sort of represents Christ, I think, for Easter. You know, they are delicious. So yeah, in the sort of Eastery thing. Now this chef's hat would normally just be white, but I just wanted to put some colour in. It was quite a big area to leave white, so I left these white. I could have used some cream, but the polycolour doesn't have a cream in the set that I've got. I expect they do one, but there's that one. Again, with this one, I haven't written what pencils I used, but I quite enjoyed matching these colours up, because you've got the yellow feather, the yellow duster, which I would normally do, and the lemon. And so I sort of put a dash of yellow there as well, so it's sort of tied together a little bit. Probably should have made that yellow. It's quite nice to eat, to sort of balance the colours. And here I've done Mouse in grey. I don't always do Mouse in brown. I know that that's how Morgan O'Brien colours her, but I sometimes mix it up. I've got a lot of brown going on here, so I thought it would be different. And the same with this one, which is done in Arteza Premium pencils. I found this one tricky. I don't know how to colour a guinea pig. I looked at some pictures of them. They were all really complicated, and I just went and did it my own way, really. But because the guinea pig is brown, I did Mouse in grey, so that Mouse stood out more. So that's that one. And there's a lot of green. I did do a few dots of yellow Posca, but I don't know, it didn't jump out at me, speak to me. As I was colouring it, I felt that I didn't feel inspired, so it hasn't got a lot of different colours, sadly. Now, I've done the other version of this first in my other book, and it has a lovely pink water lily, and I really liked it. This is done with Polycolour. But I wanted to make this one different, so I decided to do the water lily yellow, because I think yellow water lilies are really pretty, but I'm not very good at colouring in yellow, so my lack of confidence shows, I think. But and it's not a very warm page, although because they're more lemony yellows and things. But there's quite a few different colours in the lily pads. It might not be easy to see. There's some browns or reds in there, as well as greens and yellows. And I tried to do a bit of a shadow here in the water, so you can see that Mouse's body is under the water. But I think maybe I should have done these little tadpoles in a brighter colour, although it wouldn't have been realistic. It doesn't really matter. Now this one is done with Arteza Expert pencils. Again, there's a lot of brown here with the mud of the cave and the bear, which is why I did Mouse in grey. Again, I wanted a bit of a contrast. I did all the leaves the same colour, and I'm thinking maybe it would have looked more interesting if they were all different colours. But on the other hand, bear is all big one colour, so maybe it would have just made bear look too plain. I don't really know. But now this one was done with my Yova pencils, and there's a lot of opportunity for colour in this, which was fun. I wasn't really sure what that was. I thought it might have just been a piece of paper. I didn't really know. But I like colouring the basket, particularly putting some dark in to give it some texture. And all the colours in the cushions and things like that. And I just think it's overall quite a fun page with Mouse, you know, doing this handstand and a little worm there as well. So that was good. Then we have this page. Again, I've done a sky. I'm sure I've turned over two. I have. So this was the bunnies, and I put a lot of different colours into bunnies because I wasn't really sure what colour they should be. This is Arteza Expert, and I tried to make some areas darker and lighter, but in the end I think they look like they're quite long fur, which was the idea, and I had quite fun doing a few different colours in the grass. And again, I haven't done Mouse's hand or foot. Look at that, forgot those, but I should have done it when I did the ears and tail anyway. But it's such a cute picture, isn't it? So cute. Yeah, this one was done with Castle Arts botanical pencils. Again, early morning, I'm thinking let's get up early and dig up something for breakfast, or probably planting, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was a good one. I find Castle Arts do work well on this paper. Now this one I did a long time ago. This was Polycolours again. I also find they work quite well on this paper. And I tried to make a bit of warmth around the lamp there, just to, you know, make it look like there's some shine and a nice warmth. And the stars are done in a metallic pen. So there we go. This was done with Castle Arts Monet. Now I wasn't really sure how to colour the calf, and I didn't want to leave lots of white because I left the clouds white. So on the bits that I decided will be light, I just put a few strands of grey to make it look like there's a bit of shadow in the fur. Yeah, and I did all the flowers the same. I think it might have been better if I'd done them differently, but I wanted them to sort of match. This was done with Castle Arts Gold. Now the sky is always hard when it's raining. What colour's the sky? Well, today it's pouring. I've already changed because I came in and I was soaked through. The sky is a sort of whitish grey, which is, I've done it a little bit dark here. But I coloured over the rain to make it look a little bit brighter maybe. You know, I mean, rain isn't blue, but the puddle's blue, the drops are blue. I just wanted a bit of colour in there somewhere. And I tried to leave a bit of shine on the shells of the snails. They were quite good to do. Now this one I did with Polycolour. I did this one before. I adore this picture. In the other book I did it with a pink background and it looked really nice, and copying Morgan O'Brien's version, but I wanted to do it differently, so I did it with a blue. I still think it looks okay. I haven't blended brilliantly, but you know, it was still nice to do. This one I did with Polycolours as well. I have a feeling I did this one as a video. It's quite an Easter bonnet one. I may have been when I did my flip through the book actually. And lots of colour in this one, and a nice dark background. I think Mouse looks very cute. This one again in Polycolour, we have our sunrise or set. Something went wrong here, and I've put some white pen over it and tried to cover it. I think the bush or a cloud should have been up there, and there was a black line and I ignored it, and then no, I coloured down here in red and then realised that shouldn't have been red, so I tried to cover it over. But yeah, and I did these leaves. They've got a bit of a red tip, which might look like it's reflecting that red. Might not, but you know, it was. And I love doing tortoise. I really enjoyed doing that particular page. This one a bit more rainy, again like today. So I was thinking, how can we make it brighter? You know, got a grey background, a sort of dreary puddle and ground. So I thought if we did owl blue and Mouse with a nice warm hat, it would just brighten the page a little bit. So that's what I did. And that's done with Castle Arts Seascape pencils. This one I did a long time ago. It's my sort of Easter picture. You can see the glitter pen. Now I'll tell you how I did the eggs in a minute, but this was done with Polycolours again. So we have our nice pink sky and a lot of sort of shadow on everything, I mean shine on everything. And what I did was these eggs I've got, are coloured in blue, 2 shades of blue, and then I put a glitter pen over the top, which is a see-through glitter pen, so it's just to add sparkle without colour. And then once that was dry, I put these white lines on top of the glitter, and it worked well. was pleased with how that came out. It was a bit of an experiment. Now this was done with Artex pencils. We have the red sky going lighter this time. I thought it was about time I did one going the other way. And I always think purple goes really nicely with reds and yellows and oranges. So that's what why I did those all purple, and I feel the dark colour sort of silhouettes against. I think maybe this could have been a bit darker, but you know, that's okay. And the sort of pinky hat and the lovely cute blue bird. Just checking. Yeah, this was done with Castle Arts Botanical. Again, trying to get a little bit of 3D into that spade. I think that was quite good. I haven't done Mouse's nose, just noticed that. And sorry, I've got something in my eye and I can't see. That's better. And I thought these were probably seeds that are being planted, but I wasn't entirely sure what they were, to be honest. Tried to put a little bit of texture into the tree by putting a bit of shadow to make those look like they're little marks in the bark. So I enjoyed that one. This one I used my Castle Arts, the full set. Obviously I didn't use the full set, I didn't use every pencil. That would be hard on a picture this small, but I had the choice, so they had lots of different greens I could play with. Just tried to make that look gold. I'm not sure how well I achieved that, you know. And I tried to make this look silver, but a bit out of practice, to be honest. So, but I had to go. Now with Little Lamb, this is done with Prismacolor because I wanted a cream. This lamb is actually coloured in a cream like that, so it's not just white, and if you look at the art you can see the slight difference in colour. I decided to keep all the flowers the same for consistency, but I'm wondering if it would have looked prettier with a mix of colours probably, but you know, it's done now. And lamb is cute, and I think lamb still looks cute, so it's good. This one was done with Castle Arts Pastel Tint. I wanted to have a lighter feel. Now it works, the pastel tints good, you know, I could get a bit of a brown from the, I think it's Apricot Twist, things like that. They are very, very pale, which obviously is the idea. So sometimes you have to layer them up quite a bit if you want it to look a little bit darker, or you can always add them in to other sets. You know, they worked well together with the Castle Arts Gold, for example, but I was quite pleased with how that came out. It just has a sort of gentle feel to it. And this was done with Prisma as well. I was just playing around with Prismas a little bit, see how well they worked on this paper. I love these sort of teal aquamarine type colours, so I was enjoying playing with those. And I just wanted Chick to be yellow. I'm sure chicks aren't all yellow, but you know, it's just fun. Was it a duckling? Who knows? Anyway, it's a bit plain with this sort of soil and stuff, but now this one I used Pablo pencils. I had done this one before as well in the other book. When you see my completed pages video at the end of the month, I'll show you the other book and what I did in there. And in the other book, copying Morgan O'Brien's, all this is like a stained glass window. So I wanted to do it really differently, so I did it quite plain. And I was quite happy with how it came out actually. I enjoy colouring cups and teapots. I don't know why, but yeah, there we go. And also was a pleasure to colour a cake as long as you can eat some, which I didn't. Never mind. Used my Artex pencils for this one. Again, it's one that I did of Morgan O'Brien's one. So I had an idea, you know, I knew then what colours the Irish flag were, or which I could have looked up anyway. I did look it up to check because I didn't want to get it around the wrong way because that would be embarrassing. But I did a lot, less orange in it than he did in his version. I like his version better. But, you know, I wanted to do my own thing, so that's what I did. And of course also the Artex pencils have got the smaller set, so there's not a big range of greens, so I had to be, you know, a bit clever with how I used them, and I was pleased. This one I used Arteza Expert. I wanted the pot to look really bright, but also not too mad, if you know what I mean. And I was careful with the colour, so this colour is this colour, and then this yellow from here, because she would have the colour that she was painting in her pot, so that's how I did it. And yeah, I enjoyed that one. This one I was a little more befuddled with because we've got this big old plain wall in the background, and I was like, what do I do with that? So I just did it in a sort of brick colour and did these in brick colour because I didn't want to do it grey like the floor. So yeah, it's a little bit like, not really sure what to do, but you know, I had a go and tried to make her look quite bright. So so they all stood, and these things, so it stood out a bit, so hopefully the wall just blends away and you don't really notice it. That's our Taser Expert. This one is done with polychromos, and there's Mouse having a meditate, and actually the polychromos went down really well. There's a few flaws in the paper where it didn't, but that happens in all books. But enjoyed thinking this was a sort of sunrise and having a morning meditation session. That's what I was thinking with that one. Now this one, I used my Yova pencils. Now what I did with the shells is, can you see they're slightly shiny? What I did was I used this pan pastel, which is a pearl medium, and just used this. I don't know why it's in here, but it happens to be this sort of makeup applicator to put it just on the shells, because I think shells can be like mother of pearly, quite shiny. So I just wanted to do that. So I was just playing. It was fun, and kept things quite similar colours to sort of tie it all together really. Now this one, I used my Giorgione pencils again with this big wall. I was like, is that sky? Don't think so. Is there a bush through there which I should have done green? I really wasn't, but we've got this line and wasn't sure. I think I probably would have been better if I'd done it green, not red, but I was just playing anyway. But I enjoy colouring the grapes. I love grapes. Yum, had some for breakfast. And then I think this is the last one. There's some with Arteza Premium, but you can see there's some sparkle. Didn't want to show up. Maybe it will on the egg. Around the edge of all the patterning on the egg, there's sparkle. But again, it's very Eastery, isn't it, this one? And I wanted to make sure the paint on the brush and in the pots was the same colour as that on the egg, so that it worked, but also the egg is darker on the outside than the inside to try and emphasize the sort of shape of it. I think that's the last one. Yes, it is. Well, thank you very much. And actually this is a UK edition. Interesting, but it's still fairly toothy. Yeah. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was okay for you. Yeah, I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.